Hey, it's me again with another video. If you're planning to move to Hungary, or you just applied for the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, or in general you're interested in living in Hungary or just knowing more about Hungary, you're in the right place. Great. So today I'm gonna talk about life in Hungary. It's gonna be a general video. I plan to do another video really, which will be more specific. And I was thinking maybe to do it on the ground, maybe in the various cities and places that I will talk about in this video. So this is just an overview, but I really hope it provides you for value because that's the aim really of the video. So I'll jump right into it. Number one, the people. I mean, Hungary is a name, but what makes Hungary a place to stay or a place really is the people. And that's like the first thing you need to know about the place. From my experience, it's more like anywhere else in the world. There are bad people, there are good people, depending on your values, really. That's what I can say. But if you're coming from a different place of the world, and in this specific case, I'll speak on like if you're coming from Africa, I'd say one of the things that I would do or advise or something that I would have done is to learn more about my history, pre colonial history, and learn about the European history, the Hungarian history, and that would have really helped me understand where people are coming from in their social interactions with me or with people of my kind. And I think most people, not most people, but some people have told me that they've had mostly bad experiences in Hungary. And I had my own fair share of that too, and a good deal of good experiences too. And I can say that really, it really depends on the mindset. And the mindset you have really comes from what knowledge you have. If I had this knowledge that I previously talked about before, I would really understand where someone is coming from when they are interacting with me. So I understand how I was taught to look at Europeans or how Europeans are thought to look at Africans or Asians or people from South America or wherever you come from, really. So it's really important to understand that. And I think that will make your social interactions much better because Hungary is a beautiful place with plenty of places to see, plenty of good people with a vibrant culture, and you don't want to miss out on that because you didn't educate yourself on the fundamentals of moving to a new country. Okay, the second part is the weather. The weather in Hungary is pretty much the same like throughout Europe. Well, not Northern Europe, but it's a Central Europe, bit Western and East. So it has the four seasons, and I don't really have a problem with autumn and spring. I don't have a problem with those weathers. They're pretty much okay with me. But summer, I love the first half of it. So that's end of spring, start of summer to the mid of summer. Those are the best times for me. So it's a bit raining here and there, and there's sun outside. It's a pretty cool weather. I love that, especially after a whole cold winter. But then sometimes the temperatures here can get up to 40 degrees, and it gets really humid, man. So you could be in the house, fan on, windows open, but you still feel like I need a ice bath right now. Like it can get really that bad sometimes. But there are other activities and plenty of things that you can do during the summer period. So it's a good trade-off. And then there's winter. Winter can get really cold. But then there's snow. If you're coming from Africa, you've never seen snow like me. The first time you only saw in movies people making snowmen and going to the snow and doing that. Actually, the first night that I saw snowfall, I went outside with some of my friends and we did all that. Trust me, we even made snowmen. So yeah, it's a good experience at first, but once you get used to it, so cold. The streets are muddy, and winter is just a disaster for me, man. But then there are usually in all the cities there are like Christmas markets where in the evening you can go get a cup of hot tea, cup of mulled wine, hot wine, and just drink and chill with your friends. And there's probably a band playing on the side. There's Christmas lights, like really beautiful ambience. So everything has its own trade-off, really, about the weather. Infrastructure. Hungary is pretty developed compared to uh, other Eastern European countries. It's a Central European country, but it's more to the east side too. So it's pretty developed. The transport system is great. The train system is great too. You can move from one place to the other pretty comfortably and fast. The intercity trains are good and cheap. They also have good bus connections from one city to the next, and the tickets are pretty cheap. The monthly ticket for transport in Budapest is around $32 for a regular citizen. But for a student, it's gonna be half that. And if you're a student, you get discounts on most of the stuff. So I think that's a really good thing too. The other thing is the buses are always on time, and the whole terrain in Hungary is mapped on Google Maps. So it's very hard to get lost if you have data on your phone and Google Maps or Maps, I think, or is it Places on iPhone? Another video, really. But you know what I mean. iPhone users. Yeah, so buses on time, available on Google Maps, and ticket is pretty cheap for students. Yeah. Which brings me to the cost of living in Hungary. For renting a one bedroom apartment around 85 meters squared is gonna cost around $531. If you compare that to Kenya, in Kenya it's around $490, which is 49k Kenya shillings. So it's a bit more expensive, but this is Budapest. So it's pretty much okay, I think. And if you go to other cities like Debrecen, Szeged, Pech, smaller cities in Hungary, the rents can get cheaper and cheaper. Yeah. And those cities that I've mentioned, they are all beautiful cities, really. There's so much to see in Hungary, and the good thing is every city has a story, and you can track that story from one building to the next. So there's really a very rich history and the statues with history on it. Like any city you go to, there's a story about that city, or there's a hero from that city, or a monumental building in that city. So there's always a story unfolding. There's like a rich culture in this country, in Hungary, from place to place. Social life. So I have to come back to social life. If you want to go to these amazing places, especially the smaller cities, please make time and learn Hungarian because most people don't speak English. And if they do, they're not so confident speaking it. You're going to take a lot of persuasion skills to get someone to speak English, especially in the smaller cities. Budapest and some towns, some student cities, there's a whole load of like a vibrant international and English speaking youth. So you might get by, but to really blend in and get a feel of the culture, you might need to learn Hungarian. But then the Hungarian social life is very vibrant. You should try palinka. It's like a well a welcome drink in Hungary. Like any household you walk into, you have to take like a shot of palinka. And yeah, I tried it. It's pretty good. And they have lots of wineries across the country, so there's plenty of wines, and it's pretty cheap. A beer in Hungary costs $2. It's pretty cheap. A bottle of wine, a good wine, it's around $5. So that's pretty much okay. And if you want to look good going out, um, if you're from Kenya, a jeans from a boutique, not Gikomba, costs here, no, costs in Kenya around 2000. Let's say 2000 Kenya shillings. But here, a pair of jeans from a boutique or a store is going to cost around $81. That's 8,100 Kenya shillings, which is a bit more expensive compared to what I was used to back home. The monthly salary here is around $1,050 per month compared to around $500 in Kenya, where I come from. Which brings me to the social life now. So having that in mind, the social life here is pretty vibrant and pretty accessible to most people. It's perfectly normal to find a group of teenagers or young college kids or even adults just chilling in a park with a sangria, which is, I think, a Spanish wine, or some good wine or prosecco, just chilling and drinking and with music and having fun. It's a perfect normal thing here. The nightlife in Budapest is crazy, and during summer, most people from Europe come to Budapest to party. There's like a whole street full of clubs where you can hop from one to the next, and they're scattered all around the city. If you're into dining, there are all levels of restaurants and bistros scattered around Budapest. Some of them with really nice sceneries around Budapest. There's thermal baths, spas, massage parlors, anything you want really. Suit yourself. The people always down to party and smile and laugh with you and get to know you. And really, it really depends on your mindset and your approach to interactions with people. So that being said, I'm gonna be doing a video in future where I show my movements around Hungary and the different towns. But I really hope this video gave you some value and perspective into Hungary. Most of the prices that I quoted are from Budapest, but they might be cheaper in other smaller towns, depending on which one you want to go to. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Hey, subscribe.